Oh shit! I almost forgot that. I forgot that.
Little music. There we go.
Man.
It's been a minute. All Things Black with Garland and Calvin present Fanboys. Fanboys is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Now, here are your hosts, Garland and Calvin.
All Things Black presents Fanboys. And it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But we're back and we're streaming right now. I'm trying to stream the video. I don't even know if we on Facebook right now because
doesn't look like it, but
yeah, it is always messing up. But we are live on YouTube and we will be live on all the podcasts. And if you have Spotify, you'll be able to see our faces. It's been a week, Garland. It's been a week. How you doing, sir?
It's been like 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, this has just been a week. This has just been one of those weeks.
It's been one of trust me. Yeah, it has been a week. Things are good, man. You know, it could be worse. And so just thankful that above ground, still functioning, still rolling. I was telling somebody at work the other day, sometimes we are worried about the next day, but not to get all preachy on y'all, but the deacon said, the word of God said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to take care of itself. And so just be concerned about the day. And that's what we got to do. That's what we got to try to practice. Just live in the moment, live in the day, and let God take care of the rest. And so easier said than done a lot of times, but
I mean, I can't say no more than that.
Amen.
That's absolutely true.
Amen. Amen. And that's the benediction.
Exactly.
You can cash out your offering.
Don't let the day swallow you. Don't
be swallowed up, Calvin. Don't be swallowed. Don't be swallowed up, everyone, because you can get swallowed in the day. So don't get swallowed. There's a swallowing going on.
I'm not even going. I'm not even going to go there.
But you know what, everybody, I want to tell y'all audience, Calvin tried to dress like his big brother on Thursday.
Oh,
we go to the CIAA. Yeah, I'm going to get you first before you get me. And so, we go to the CIAA. And I look, I'm like, hold up. Why little bro dressed like big bro? I got on my Jordan 11s. He got on his Jordan 11s. I got on black sweatpants. He got on black sweatpants. I got on a gray hoodie. He got on a gray shirt, Under Armour shirt. Then I looked up. He had on the same type of jacket I had. We both had like the nice little winter jackets with the nice little lining. Mine was beige though. His was jean blue. I'm like, and we both had on our Oreo hats. If you're able to see this, he's got on his City Connect hat, and I had on my City Connect hat too. I'm like, hold up. He's trying to be like big bro. I know he an only child. I know he ain't had nobody, to go do all these things with. But I understand. I'm glad I got an influence on you, Cal. You're trying to be like big bro.
Ain't that some bullshit? Because you was my come on yo. My come on yo was for Garland dressing like me.
Trying to be like big bro. That's all you can still do it. Trying to be like big bro.
Ain't that so?
I looked up like. Little bro trying to be like me.
Oh, I can't believe
you trying to stunt like big bro. I feel you. I feel you.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you win on this one. You were first to it, so to the victor goes the spoil. So you were first to it.
I didn't even know you had it as come on yo's.
You didn't. You were first to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you have it. But I'm telling y'all, it's some bullshit. That's some bullshit he talking. But I'm gonna let him have it. I'm gonna let him be on record and saying that. But it's some bullshit. But let y'all know that.
He trying to be like big bro.
If y'all didn't go, so today is the last day. Well, the last games of CIAA, the championship games are today. The women's is going on at 1:00 and the men's is going on at 3:00. But it's still CIAA weekend here. It's been CIAA week. So if you get downtown, still a whole lot of things going on. Mostly at the power plant, they have a lot of the parties and stuff that you can go to. Those are the sanctioned events. Of course, there's going to always be unsanctioned events down there. Last night, so Garland didn't come last night, and last night was the hip hop trivia, and I still won. They still gave me the prize. I could barely hear the girl because I'm old, and I was in the middle, and she was on the mic. I don't know why I could barely hear, but I think I answered the questions right. But just so we can see if Garland is the hip hop guru, we're gonna ask him the same three questions. She gave me 3 questions, and I was unprepared, just like you're gonna be unprepared. She said a whole lot of stuff at the beginning, which is probably clues to the questions, but I couldn't hear it. So I'm gonna just ask you the straight question.
Okay. All right.
Question number one. What is Kendrick Lamar's first album?
Ooh. Big Kid, Mad City.
Gotta go.
Oh, Section 80. Section 80.
I think it's Section 80. I said damn because I'm not a big Kendrick Lamar guy, but I said damn. But it's definitely Section 80. I heard people yelling out, what's the one, the butterfly one, the one before damn.
How to make a butterfly, how to do something with a butterfly.
Yeah, something like that. But and the only reason I know it's Section 80, I didn't even hear her say the answer. It's because I looked it up when I got home because it was bugging me. I was like, what is this? What is the first one? But I said damn, so I was wrong. Number 2. Which male
to
rapper?
Pimp a Butterfly. I'm sorry.
To Pimp a Butterfly. That's before damn.
And the second album is Good Kid, Mad City. So I was close. Go ahead.
Number 2. And remember, I was on a time limit. Like I was taking my time. They was like, let's go, gotta go. The little guy was like, gotta go.
Messing up the TV timeout. Go ahead.
Messing up TV timeout. Next one. Which male artist has the most Grammys?
Rap artist?
Yeah, male rap artist. I'm sorry.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Yeah, I got that one. That was right.
All right.
The third one, which female rap artist was the first female rap artist to grace the cover of Time magazine?
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh.
She had to give me a hint on that one.
Ooh. First female. Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill, you got it. Yo, you got it. You got it. I had no clue. I was like, Lil Kim, MC Light. I had no Lil Kim. Absolutely did. I had no clue. I should have said Cardi B. I should have said Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. I had no clue. And then she gave me a little hint. And I was
you should have been like Ice Spice or Lotto. I know it's between Ice Spice.
Big Lotto. Big Lotto.
What's the one with the booty hole? My booty hole is
nice. That's Sexy. It's Sexy Red, but I say it like they say it's Sexy Red. That's Sexy Red.
Yeah, I think Sexy Red.
Sexy Red. But yeah, man. So you got him. You would have won a grill also. I think I won a Coca-Cola t-shirt and a Coca-Cola grill. So yeah. So the grill gonna come just in time. The landlord is having his birthday party here next month. So
snap.
We're going to have 3 grills rolling, and one is going to be my brand new Coca-Cola grill. It's probably going to be some little desktop. Desktop.
Little hibachi.
But yeah, if you get a chance to go down to CIAA, I guess by the time you hear this, you might just have Sunday to go. But definitely when it comes to next year, I think next year, I know next year is the last contracted year unless Baltimore gets an extension without the bidding. If they don't get an extension without the bidding, it'll do like it did when it left Charlotte. It'll go up for bidding to different cities, and whoever has the best offer, the best package.
I will have to say this, a lot of people were kind of like, Charlotte. But I think Baltimore has really, really, really laid out the red carpet for the CIAA. I mean, you've seen the media on board. I mean, weeks leading into it, all of the major outlets are talking about it, advertising the event, downtown looking great. And so, I mean, I think I would say they deserve a couple more years of hosting because they really laid it out for the CIAA. And I think it's been a great turnout. I know Wednesday night I went, good turnout. Went Thursday night, good turnout. I'm sure it was packed last night. It's probably going to be packed today.
Yeah.
And so, and the parties around it, everything. It's a great vibe. I think it's done well for the city. And so, shout out to Baltimore City Mayor Scott and all of those Calvin, Visit Baltimore, those people that work there, and all those, job well done.
Yeah, and it's definitely picked up. One of the things that we talked about when we went there, we being us, the crew, me, Gall, and Jay down there, is that how empty the seats were. But yeah, Wednesday it was a good crowd. Thursday it was an even bigger crowd, and yesterday with the semifinals, it was an even bigger crowd. So the hype is definitely there. It's really good event, and a lot of the people that were just working for Visit Baltimore, I have to do some shifts for CIAA. So I go to some of the hotels, sit at the hospitality desk, and a lot of the people that come by like, yeah, I was here the last 2 years, and it's been good. It's been great. So it's been building up, picking up every year.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully
when I worked
we'll
downtown,
win the bid again.
When I worked downtown and I worked at the building where it was a hotel on one side and an office building on the other, in the B&O building, that was one of the hotels where a lot of the schools stayed. And so you would see people coming in and out that entire week. It's so long. I think that's why the crowds earlier in the week look a little thin, because it's a week-long tournament. It's the men and the women together. A lot of your conferences don't do men's and women's together. They usually do them separately. And if it's men's, it's usually like a Thursday through a Saturday or something like that. And so having so many teams, they had to stretch out the logistics of getting all those games in during the week to get to a championship game on Saturday. It's kind of spread out. But like I said, great time, good event. I hope they get it back.
Yeah, definitely hope that we get it back again. So, but yeah, so definitely, if you come downtown, if you come to Baltimore, just do CIAA at least next year if you don't get to it this year.
And go to the Jess Hilarious party. I wonder how that's going to be this evening. It's her birthday, and she pregnant, and all those things. And so she said, "Don't bring no bottle. Don't try to give her no shots, but you can bring some baby. You can bring some Pampers and stuff for the baby."
She pregnant by Country Wayne. No. So anyway, what we got going on today,
guys? Man, we're gonna go through all. One of the things we were talking about some stuff at the game, so we're just gonna just conversating and stuff. And so, man, in the NFL, the NFLPA, they released this players ranking of the teams, and this is kind of like, it's become a big deal over the last couple of years. And Baltimore last year, they were ranked 17th. This year, they moved up to the middle of the pack to 15 in the rankings. They got like B minus, C's across the board, an A in ownership, but mostly B's and C's. The Super Bowl champion Chiefs, they came in last. That's crazy. They repeated, but they had some concerns about the ownership and investment and a couple of different things. They look at the training room and the weight room and the cafeteria, all those things to factor in. And so I'm gonna say this, man. I don't know if we should take these rankings seriously, or is it just cap from the players? And so I'll give you a quick little tidbit to start this off. Well, maybe the listening audience doesn't know, I'm an adjunct professor for a local university. And so every year, every semester, the students rank or rate my course. And so they get a chance to evaluate the course, say what they like, say what they don't like. And every year, I always tell the students, I know this is their opportunity to dump. So either you're going to have those who are going to be honest. If they like the class, they're going to say they like it. Even if they don't like the class, there's some people who've told me to my face, I like you, but I never give good evaluations. I never get good rankings. And so for me, it's like some people are never going to be satisfied. Some people are going to be honest. Some people are just going to just like, no, I'm just going to. So I remember one of the evaluations, they said he's the worst person ever. He doesn't work with students. I'm like, I know this is a whole lie, but this is people's opportunities to dump. And so, man, it's this cat. I mean, should we be paying attention to this?
So I think certain things you want to pay attention to when it comes to that, because these are the actual player rankings. So for lack of better terms or anything, this is the inside of what's going on in the organization. Now, as fans, the only thing we care about are wins. So we don't care about anything else. But when you're looking at your team and sometimes you're trying to figure out what's going on there, I'll give you a prime example for the Ravens. They were one of the worst in trainers last year.
Yes.
And they've actually gone up in trainers. And if you notice on the field, Rashad Bateman stayed healthy. Lamar Jackson stayed healthy. A lot of the players that we needed stayed healthy. Now, there were some key injuries, of course, that you can't help. But even Mark Andrews, he got injured, but he was able to come back in the playoffs. So some of it you pay attention to. Some of it you're kind of like when they talk about family. The Ravens get a high rank on family, but
they got B minus.
Yeah, you think you're like, well, what is that? Does that mean that they're giving us tickets? They're letting my family come to event. You know what I mean? You just don't really know. Now, with that being said, you mentioned that the Ravens got a lot of B's and C's across the board. But I don't even evaluate it. When I looked at it, I didn't even evaluate it on the B's and C's. I looked at where it ranked, because with the 32 teams, even if you have a B minus, some of them rankings were like 24 and 25. That's not, B is a good grade, but that's not upper echelon of the NFL. So it looks like they have a lot to do. It's great that ownership is being ranked very high. Now that is really good. And I think it just known across the NFL that, and across sports, that the Ravens are a very well managed organization. They should give the fans some ranking opportunities also, because
we know what the fans gonna say across the board.
I need I guys, I'm still mad.
Oh God. I want to open no wounds. Yeah, Harbaugh got a B plus for head coaching.
I don't know why.
Coach, obviously they did listen last year because they changed out the strength coach, because they got an F last year. This year they got a B, and so definitely did well. I read something on Twitter. Kyle Van Noy was saying, the C minus that they got for travel. He was like, "That's cap." He was like, he said this is one of the best teams in terms of travel. And so to me, I think, like I said, it really ranges amongst the persons who are responding. A lot of times your veterans, they know the system. They're fine with it. They're not necessarily looking for a whole bunch of entitlements. But then you have your kind of your middle of the pack to lower paid players who probably are like, yo, they need to do more for us, like the treatment of the families. Some people like, we like to have childcare for our families if they bring in the children to the game. Okay, are we running a daycare, doing the game and stuff like that? And so to me, it's like, I think I was reading Cincinnati's, they was like, they just have a tent. You don't even have nobody to talk to. They just tell people gather at a tent or something. And I looked at a couple of the rankings for the AFC North teams, and Baltimore was probably the best ranked one across the board. I was surprised that the Steelers, the ownership got an F. And
really,
and I believe the Bengals ownership got an F as well. And so,
Bengals ownership, definitely.
And you really think about it; those are not big free agent destinations anyway. Maybe that's why. So maybe we're seeing it in terms now. Tomlin as a coach, he got the highest ranking in terms of coaches with an A. I think he got an A plus, and so. He's respected as a coach, but for the rest of their rankings, it was kind of like it was kind of low, as well as Cincinnati's as well. I think Cincinnati, they don't provide any free meals. You got to pay for your meals at the facility. They only give one free meal a week.
Now that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
You making money. You making money, Cincinnati. You've been in the playoffs. You're making money. You're making billions of dollars, and you can only provide one meal free a week. And so
that's ridiculous.
A little crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And so it does matter, but we do know some people got access to grind, and so we see it in these rankings. But talking about impact on free agents, outside of trying to resign free agent Justin Madubuike, the Ravens also have a lot of holes to fill, especially at running back. And the free agent pool is available with a lot of good backs. Do you see the Ravens making a splash signing at this position? And who would you like to see if they did?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it has been something I've been thinking about because, of course, you talk about your Saquon Barkleys, your Derrick Henrys, your Josh Jacobs. Those are the big three names that are out there now. Then you got your next round of guys like your DeAndre Swifts. What's the guy that was with Indianapolis last year? Zach, what's his name? Zach. No,
I can't think of his name, but go ahead.
but anyway, so you got those guys that kind of like your second tier. So we talked a lot about how the Ravens didn't run the ball as well. It didn't run the ball at all in the AFC Championship game as they have done all season. And I heard something that actually made some sense. It's not like the Ravens have a bell cow running back. So, the Ravens led in rushing because of Lamar and because Gus Edwards was grinding out some yards here and there. But if you actually looked at it outside of the young boy that got hurt, the Ravens didn't break off a whole lot of big runs. Like, we don't have that running back that the teams fear. We just didn't have one. I think the Ravens are looking to get one. And with that being said, who do you want to get?
Right.
Obviously, the name Derrick Henry sticks out there. But there's going to be a time where Derrick Henry is on his last leg. And is it now?
Last leg now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it now? Like, do you want to take that chance? Or you want to just have him back there as a decoy? You want him to be able to get out there.
Right.
Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley still has it, but he's old. Not old. He stays injured. Saquon stays injured, man. So Josh Jacobs to me would be the better signing of the three top guys. If we go into second tier, I'm actually a DeAndre Swift fan. I was a DeAndre Swift fan when he was in Detroit. So for me, it would be between Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Smith. Both of them have speed. They got cutting ability. They can be your number one running backs. You can still get the young boy back there. And I keep saying young boy because I keep forgetting his name. But you can still get him back there after
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell.
I'm sorry.
You can still get him back there because he has that breakaway speed. And I firmly believe had he been healthy the rest of the season, the Ravens win that AFC Championship game because he can break off some runs. Okay. He would have put the fear in them. So, but then what do you do with your own guys? Are you letting Gus walk, which it sounds like they are? What are you going to do with JK? Do you want to try to sign him to a lower deal, him coming off of another season injury? So what do you want to do? But if it were me, I would like DeAndre Swift or Josh Jacobs.
Okay. I like that. I'd like someone young. Someone was saying, either who would you take, Derrick Henry or Saquon? And I say everybody takes Derrick Henry because it's Madden. And we always had this Madden type of think about players, and we remember the big highlights. But this guy, we're starting to hear the rotors. He's running on rotors right now. He's getting older. He's 30. And so you figure giving him a 2-year, 3-year contract, because that's what's going to take to sign. And he's not going to come here cheap. You're talking about paying this man some good money into his 33 years old. And it's crazy. He's born on my birthday, January the 4th. And so maybe it is a good investment. We'll see. But but yeah, he'll be 33 by the time that contract expires. I mean, so basically you'll be paying 2 years for a guy that's 30. His yards per average have decreased every year since 2020. Although he went over 1,000 yards last year, it was one of his lowest totals in his career playing a full season. And so I think it would be great. It would be, we're not getting peak, and if it depends on who else you have in that backfield. Now, if you have other good pieces in the backfield to go with that, and he's not having to carry the ball 25 to 30 times per game, then that's a good deal. Just like we did with Clowney. That's just like we did with Clowney. Jadeveon, thank you. Jadeveon Clowney. I think we got the most out of him this season because we limited the amount of sacks. He didn't have to play every down like Pierre Paul had to do when he came in. He wasn't really that effective, or Justin Houston. I think if you're using those people in those type of situations where they're coming in on, as your pass rushing specialist, then you get the best out of them. at an older age, and I think that's that could work for Henry. But the last time the Ravens have spent big money on a running back was Ray Rice, and so I'm not sure. Maybe they go for the middle of the pack, like you said. Zach Moss was the guy that you mentioned.
Zach Moss, yes.
And for the Colts, maybe they go middle of the pack because it's not a strong draft running back class that they're saying. It's not top heavy in running backs. And so, if you get Josh Jacobs here on a good deal, I take it. I even roll the dice with Saquon. If you get Saquon and you add another good relief piece where Saquon is not carrying the ball all the time, great. Even Tony Pollard. If you got another piece here where Tony Pollard is not carrying the ball 20 to 25 times a game, I don't mind.
I don't want Tony Pollard.
You don't want Tony Pollard? Why?
Tony Pollard was a great backup. But when he was the number one last year, Tony Pollard just didn't put up the numbers that he was supposed to put up, running behind that Dallas offensive line. Now, I will say, Derrick Henry, let me not act like I would not want a Derrick Henry, even with the production that he did this year. Sure. But I know some of our listeners don't like the stats, so I'm gonna give you an advanced stat. One of the advanced stats on Derrick Henry is that he is one of the worst in hits before getting yardage. So he gets a lot of 1 or 2 yards. Yeah, he gets a lot of hits, and that's the kind of thing that troubles you, because at his age and his style of running, everybody thought last year he was just going to be done, but he wasn't. He had a decent season, but at some point, like we're saying, he's going to have to hang it up. I mean, he's just, he's older running back, and that's just what it is. But if you can get performance like he got last year, yeah, but can you get it for like 2 or 3 years? Like you said, if you're going to sign him, are you going to get it for 2 or 3 years? So I would go younger. I also like Saquon because Saquon catches out of the backfield. That's another thing.
More versatile.
We were missing. Yeah, we were really missing that. So I like Saquon also. I'm with you on Saquon, but I would still go with Josh Jacobs or DeAndre Swift if I
like DeAndre Swift as well. All right. A team that Calvin picked to make the playoffs last year, the Chicago Bears.
Not only to make the playoffs, but to win the division.
To win the division. We're talking about choices and people right on choices.
We were talking about that at the game. Like we were.
And I saved it for today. As soon as he said, I was like, store this for the next recording. Yeah, he picked the Bears to win the Central and to the North and to make the playoffs.
I was way wrong.
Yeah. They have a big decision to make over the next couple of weeks. Do they keep Justin Fields or possibly trade the number 1 pick, or do they trade Fields and take the odds-on favorite for number 1, Caleb Williams, out of USC with that number 1 pick? And so, what do we do? Do you trade Fields or do you take Williams?
Well, one of my reasons for picking them is because I thought that Justin Fields was just going to finally turn that corner and be an amazing quarterback. Especially with the competition that they had in the North. You're looking at Jeff Goff. You're looking at what's our guy? You like that Mr. Guaranteed Contract, Kirk Cousins.
Then you Jordan Love.
Then you had Jordan Love. So I thought out of the 4 that Justin Fields had the best opportunity to be the best quarterback in there. But obviously it was not Jordan Love, but Jeff Goff took over. We've talked about this. I think they should keep Justin Fields. Justin Fields came on towards the end of the season. He finally, it felt like they had him locked in, some reins on him, but it felt finally, I think, towards the end of the season, it was like he was like, no, you know what? Fuck this. We're not going anywhere. I'm gonna just take off and start doing what I do. I think they should keep Justin Fields. I really think they got a solid quarterback in Fields. When you pick in the number 1 and you pick a quarterback, you're really taking a crapshoot. And then if you're picking him and you get rid of Fields, then you're going to have to start him. And who says Caleb Williams is ready for prime time like that? If you remember, Caleb Williams is the quarterback that got beat down by your boy and his Colorado squad. If you remember,
they didn't get beat down. They won that game.
You remember he got USC beat down.
Defense was horrible. You and I could go out there and throw for 300 yards against USC defense.
Caleb Williams was getting beat down in that game.
Beat down. I think he threw for 500 yards.
Watch that game. Watch that game.
I think he threw for 500.
That's them empty stats. That's them empty stats. That's them. I'm trying to tell you. That's them empty stats. That's them stat pads where he had to throw the ball. I'm trying to tell you, he did not play the way he played. And are you sure they won that game?
They won that game. It was close.
Sure they won that game?
Because USC came back on them.
That's right.
Colorado came back on
Colorado
them.
came back. Yeah. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. But I like Caleb, but I just don't know if you want to take that chance with a team that now, if you're going into full rebuild mode, you know what I mean, then maybe that's what they're doing. If you're going into full rebuild mode, then yeah, I guess. But I really think you got something in Justin Fields. So I say keep Justin Fields.
Oh my God. Caleb Williams threw for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns in that Colorado game. 403 yards and 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception.
Hold on. What game am I thinking about where he was crying at the end?
That might have been another game during the year. Game. Yeah, that was another game. But it wasn't that game.
I don't watch that much. Listen, I don't watch a whole lot of USC. I watch Colorado, but I watched the USC game where Caleb Williams was literally crying at the end of the game.
They lost a game. I think it might have been to Arizona or Arizona State. USC did
somebody that they should have beat. Yeah,
somebody they should have beat, and he was a little teary-eyed. But no, not that game.
It wasn't that game. I watch Colorado, but I don't watch as much USC. All right, I'm wrong. I'm wrong against Colorado.
Yeah. 6 touchdowns. Anyway, and so I think they got to go ahead and Justin Fields has shown us who he is. We don't need to see any more Justin Fields as quarterback of the Bears. He's had 4 seasons now. He's had 4 seasons to show us what he can do. And he showed us. He's a guy that can flash a little bit. He has great legs, but he's just a mediocre. He's very mid. He's below mid. He's not a great quarterback. And a lot of people are like, well, if he had a stable system, he had DJ Moore last year, and it still didn't make a lot of difference. He was throwing a lot of dumb interceptions. Anytime that Lamar Jackson won a MVP with Hollywood Brown, Seth Roberts, Miles Boykin, as his wide receivers, and he basically elevated that core. You didn't really see that out of Justin Fields. And I would say he had a little. Fair. It is fair. That's not fair. It is fair. It is fair. Those are similar. They're similar type of quarterbacks. Use their legs. They got good arm.
Similar type of quarterbacks don't mean that they're similar or the same level of quarterback. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. Justin Fields has never even been whispered as MVP candidate. Lamar Jackson won a Heisman Trophy. No, you can't do that.
Come on. Wasn't Fields? He was in. I mean, Fields was not a sloppy player. This was a guy who was a top 5 player when he was in college. This is a guy who led his team to the national championship game when he was in college. Am I correct?
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't.
And he looked real good in college because he was throwing to Jackson and Jigba Smith. He was throwing to all these great receivers at Ohio State. And he
I understand where you're going with it, but
you don't agree.
I don't agree with putting him on a level as a Lamar Jackson. What I will agree with is you do have to make your team a little better. But even in Lamar Jackson's case, we can see that sometimes coaching and scheme holds you back. Now, is it all Justin Fields? Can some of it be on the coach? What do you know what I mean? Like, I think Justin Fields has enough to carry them a little longer. I'm not big on getting guys that you don't know how they're going to act or how they're going to play when it comes to the pros. I'm not. Now, let me say this. If they trade Justin Fields, I'm not going to be stomping around like, that's some bull. They was wrong. I'm going to just be like, oh, okay. But I just think they should keep him.
Okay. And I'm not saying he's Lamar. What I'm saying is that his skill set did not elevate the skill set of the players that he had around him. And we've seen who he is. Let your eyes are not deceiving you on this one. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of times our eyes can deceive us. We see something, oh, well, that looks good. And then we get up close on it and be like, whoa. I think Justin Fields, he's shown us who he is. He's like a mid player, and maybe he gets in the system and he could flash, and maybe he can do some different things, and that might be beneficial to some other players or some other teams. I just think in Chicago, you've done all you can go and done it and go with Justin Fields. It's probably it's time. This guy, I think Caleb Williams is a generational player, and you don't want to miss. Yeah, I do. I don't think you want to miss out on a generational player.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Now, if he's a generational player, then I completely agree with you. Yeah. I don't know if he's a generational player. Like I'm not putting that one on him, but I get that. Now I get that. Yeah. I get it. You don't pass up on that.
Yeah, you don't pass up on that. All right, man. Let's transition to a little basketball. This has been, it's been a couple weeks now since this, but everybody was kind of a little broke up over the All-Star game. The East won that game 211 to 186. In a game that featured about 168 attempted three-pointers and virtually no defense. We know the commissioner, he had spent a couple months, stressing the importance of a competitive all-star game, and it just didn't happen. I mean, people they don't care. And I know I came up with kind of like a cockamamie way to fix the NFL All-Star game, the Pro Bowl. Remember, I was talking about the third place game and maybe getting the teams from the championship games to play, or have the two worst teams play for the number one pick. What do we do to fix the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah, so that is the question of the year right now. Right. It's so difficult, and so let me qualify this first, because Garland will run with this one. Let me qualify this first. I'm not a LeBron fan. Okay. I don't dislike him, but I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm a Lakers fan, which by default makes me a LeBron fan, and I want to see him do well as a Laker.
Okay.
Now, let's go to the All-Star game. All of this is LeBron James's fault. All of it.
How's it LeBron's fault?
Let me tell you, LeBron James has created this culture in the NBA where they all want to be cool. They all want to hang out and do this. They want to
be friends.
Yeah, they want to play together. So it's not fixing the All-Star game. It's fixing the participants. It's fixing the players. If you remember, Magic and Isaiah and Magic classically were friends. In the NBA Finals one year, Isaiah thought that Magic hooked him, and he tried to take Magic's head off.
Right.
Like, when it came to the competition,
after they kissed on each other on the lips, and they start swinging.
Exactly. By the way, did Isaiah ever get tested? Anyway, exactly. After all of that love they show for each other, they got on that court and literally killed one another. All those boys. In the All-Star game, they dialed it down a little, but when it got into the fourth quarter, they wanted to win that game.
Exactly.
And they were playing hard.
Playing defense and all that stuff in the fourth quarter.
LeBron James has manifested this culture that we can all hang together. We can make these super teams. We can be friends on and off the court. And we want to see some competition. Now, because of that, we have this garbage that's going on. Like, it's just bad. Now, so the people that talk about it mostly are commentators and us older folks. I don't know how the younger folks feel about it. You know what I mean? For the younger folks, they may just want to see their guys. They just may want to see the guys play. But we want some competition. Like, we want to see at least them acting like they care. They act like they care in baseball. They act like they care slightly in football, but at least care in basketball. It's just trash now. Trash.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I know I had the crazy idea about the Pro Bowl. I really don't care about the Pro Bowl. I really don't care about any All-Star game. I can't tell you the actual time I've actually sat down to watch a MLB All-Star game, an NBA All-Star game, or the Pro Bowl. Have not done it probably in any of my adult years. As a kid, of course, you love that. And in our era, it was great because we did not see, like, particularly for baseball, we didn't see the National League all the time. We were
Right.
American League City. And so to see the American League against the National League, that meant something. You got to see National League players, or if vice versa, you were in opposite cities. And so it carried a little bit more weight. And of course, as a fan, you want to see your favorite player from your team on the national stage. And that was the importance of it. But I think as I'm an older viewer, I could care less what they do. It's an exhibition game. I don't think giving them more money is going to make them play harder. All of these, I don't think tying it into who has home court advantage is going to matter. They try to do that with baseball. I don't think baseball even cares about that. And so I think we just have to accept it as it is. It's an exhibition game. And if they're going to get out there and hustle, okay, yeah, we want you guys to at least give it some effort. Let's not have a game that's 200. You know what I like what they did a couple years ago? They did this thing where you had to have a certain score to win, and you score a certain amount of points. Remember when that made it interesting? I actually watched a little bit of that game. I was like, oh, great, this is a good idea. It was kind of like from that tournament that ESPN does over the summer, where you have these teams of former college players playing, and if you get the way that they calculate the points, and if you have a certain score by the third quarter or the fourth quarter, you win, and something like that. Maybe that will make it appealing. Someone said maybe extending out the in-season tournament to be the all-star game. Just, hey, we recognize people who were voted as all-stars, but you play the semifinal and the finals of the in-season tournament at the all-star game. Maybe that makes sense, but it's an exhibition game. There's no fixing for them.
I'll tell you what they could do to make it more interesting. This probably wouldn't make it a better game, but make it more interesting. They could combine the WNBA players with it and make it a co-ed all-star game.
Wow, that would be interesting.
That would make it interesting.
That would make it interesting.
Yeah, 2 women on each team or 3 women on each team, however you want to do it, but you just got to match up. Even if you got 4 women and 1 man, as long as the other team matches up. It might.
Oh wow,
that might make it interesting.
That might be interesting. All right. So
now, when they get that idea,
Adam Silver is a listener of
Fanboys.
Yeah, Adam Silver. If you didn't know that, he listens to Fanboys religiously. Now, over the past week, there's been a lot of debate about court storming at college games. 2 players were hurt over the past couple months. You had a guy for Duke who hurt his knee, but he wound up playing the next game. And Caitlin Clark, she got trampled by a fan, but she wound up playing shortly thereafter as well. And so should court storming continue? Are you for it, or should it be banned?
So I've always had a mysterious thought about court storming. I've always felt like if you're the losing team and the home team, you're the losing visiting team, and the home team, their fans storm the court, what stops them from punching you dead in your motherfucking mouth? Like, I've always felt like
you on the court, I'm protecting myself.
And they right there, and you know what I mean? Like, they can just run up and jump you. And what can you do when a whole mob of people, like, I've always felt like, so that's always been on my mind. So if you're getting players injured, so now remember the college, because it's college, so it's not happening in the major sports. It's not happening at all.
Right.
So if you are, college is a different game now. Now these players are worth money. NIL has changed the value of what these players mean to not only the teams, but to themselves. You have to stop court storming, because you can't afford to have a Caitlin Clark injured and not be playing in the next game.
Right. What if she got injured for the year and she couldn't play in that tournament?
Exactly.
I'm sure those TV executives would not be happy about that.
Exactly. So you've got to find a way to stop it. And I know in the SEC they're
They
fining
found
what
teams.
100,000 and then 500,000. But
Mm-hmm.
just like the NBA All-Star game, I think you said it. Money doesn't move everyone. Like
No,
everyone's not moved by money because it's number one. It's not coming out of their pocket. It's coming
right,
out the team's pocket or the school's pocket.
right.
So money doesn't move everyone, but you got to find a way to do it. So I guess with that all being said, I must be against it. These players are now worth more money.
Right,
Like,
right.
so yeah, you got to stop it. You got to
I
find a
agree
way to
with
stop
you. I'm against it as well. I mean, now we grow up in the era, Calvin, you and I, of when in professional sports we saw fans storm the field.
it. Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching World Series games where the team run and like the Yankees, and it turned into bedlam on the field. I remember going to Colts games and they won in the last second field goal, and fans stormed the field and tore down the goalpost. I remember those
Mm-hmm.
things, and they had to stop it because I'm sure they were concerned about safety. All it's going to take is one fan getting seriously hurt, and then them suing the school and the player. Now that the player got some money with NIL, they're going to go sue the player. They can
Mm-hmm.
sue the school. And yeah, okay. And I agree with Jay Billis. It's the networks love it. It's the way that they advertise these games. It's the way that the schools love it because they advertise that to recruiting and the players. Like, hey, look, we have a invested fan base. Just because you brought a ticket doesn't mean you get to run on the court or you get to storm the field. Enjoy it from the stands, like we do when we go to the Ravens game. I don't know the person behind me, but by the end of that Rams game, that they came back and won in overtime on that punt return, I
Mm-hmm.
almost hugged that guy. We were high fiving. We had a great time, and we turned and we left out the stadium. That was the great experience. We didn't need to jump on the field and run over there on Tylen Wallace and jump on him and all that stuff. We didn't need to do that. We hugged
Yeah.
each other. I hugged my daughter. I high-fived the guy behind me, and we rolled out. And we talked some mess to some of the Ram fans on our way out the stadium. That was a great way to enjoy the game. But I agree with you. It's going to take someone getting hurt
Yeah.
seriously, a player or a fan, before they say, okay, nah, this is it, because someone's going to have to get litigious. And once you start getting litigious, then it's going to be like, okay, ain't nobody going to
Mm-hmm.
get near this court.
You're definitely putting everyone on that field in precarious positions.
Yeah.
Even the camera people, the security. You're putting everyone in just a bad position because you never know who's going to get injured or who's going to have to defend themselves, who's going to decide that they want to act like they're defending themselves and just fight. You just never know.
Yeah.
And then with the age of, and I hate to say it because I know there's security, but if you ever did secure, well, I'm gonna save that one because that's something I'm saving. But with the age of mass shootings and everything, people
Sure.
find ways to get things into stadiums
Sure.
and on fields, and you don't want
Mm-hmm.
anyone going down there and just letting off. You
Some
just don't want
depressed
anything
kid
to
running
happen.
onto the
Exactly.
field like last Boy
Exactly.
Scout shooting somebody, you know.
Ain't life a bitch?
Right.
That was Billy Blanks.
That was Billy Blanks. Tabo. Yeah, boy. Used to be up at 6 a.m. doing some Tabo. But Billy Blanks. But yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, you just gotta stop it. You just gotta stop it. All right. Now your girl Caitlin Clark, she recently passed Lynette Woodard to become the highest scoring female college player in women's college basketball. She's close to passing Pete Maravich as the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history. But our boy Jay Williams at ESPN, he doesn't think that makes her the GOAT. He said that to be considered the greatest of all time, you got to win some rings, some ships. And so, what's your thoughts? Is Kaylin the GOAT or is Jay right?
No, he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. You cannot
Yeah.
be considered the
Yeah.
greatest without having
Yeah.
the appropriate
Yeah.
hardware to go along
I
with it.
agree. Right.
And as amazing as she is, and I will be honest, I'm not a fan. I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan
Yeah.
because she's one of those villain type players. You'll love her if she's on
Okay.
your team, but if you got to play
Mm-hmm.
against her, you're like, "Ugh, I can't stand her." But no,
Mm-hmm.
she's definitely not a goat. She's very. I don't even want to say she's very good. She's amazing. If she wins a ring this year, then I would have goat conversation. But
Sure.
I could see that.
Sure.
But you're talking about dominance like Brittany Griner, Lisa Leslie,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh,
Diana Taurasi,
Diana
Candace
Taurasi,
Parker.
shit, Lisa Lobo, Rebecca
Yeah.
Lobo,
Rebecca Lobo. Yeah, you had a lot of great
what's her face?
players.
Cheryl Miller. I was like, I
Cheryl
gotta say
Miller.
Cheryl Miller. If I don't say
Yes.
Cheryl Miller. You
Yes.
know, to me, these women would be considered
Cheryl
goats.
Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops. You just can't, and even today, is she really the best player today? Because last season that award went to Angel Reese. I mean, is it? And Caitlin Clark did a thing, but I don't know. She can't be the GOAT. She can't. They didn't win it last year,
Right.
so
I
can't be.
agree. I agree. I think we've kind of lowered the bar when we start talking about the greatest of all times. We're quick to throw the goat on somebody. But yeah, she is definitely, her style of play fits today's game. She is a long range shooter, and that's the exciting thing about basketball is 3-pointers. And in the women's game, yeah, she's quite a proficient shooter, and she's got little handles, and she's done some things with that team to get that team in the top
Absolutely.
five. Absolutely, I agree. She's a great player. But yeah, there have been too many players that have won too many championships to still carry that mode. I'm not ready just because she scored a gang of points. It's a different game now. You score more points now. The three is more frequent now. I remember during COVID, they were playing the old NBA games. Remember when the games were canceled and they were showing some of the old games? And they were showing a NBA playoff game between the Pistons and the Knicks. And the 3-pointer was in the game at that time. Man, they were ignoring the 3-point line. Nobody was pulling up. I mean, people were wide open at the 3-point line, and they would pass up that shot and try to drive. They would shoot a short range because that wasn't the game then. You were shooting. You only shot threes if you needed to try to win a game on a quick comeback. But now the 3-pointer is a part of the game, and so yes, we're going to see people scoring at higher levels now. They're playing more games, but not to disrespect, like you said, the Swoops and the Parkers and the Tarasis, the people before that pretty much built up the game. We've got, those are the GOATs. They won multiple times.
They won, yes.
They were carrying teams, and I would love to see what she does on the professional level as well. And so I want to see if that translates to the professional level. And I mean, Sabrina Ionesco, she did great in the 3-point contest against Steph. She's done well with the Liberty and the WNBA. Kelsey Plum, she's done great. She passed her. Caitlin Clark passed her in the scoring list, and she's done well. Won a couple titles with Las Vegas, and so we'll see what happens. I would love to see how our games translates.
I actually got to see Kelsey Plum before she was actually Kelsey Plum. Like,
okay.
It was the women's tournaments are a little different. Like the higher seeds you play in their home court. So
right.
We got tickets to, and they cheap tickets. I don't want to act like tickets are expensive, but to the Maryland women's game, and they give you like the first 2 rounds on one ticket. So Maryland won the first round and then had to play Washington the second round. And of course, you thinking it's gonna, with women's, you think it's just gonna be a cakewalk because Washington was like Maryland was the number 2 seed, and Washington coming in the second round was like the 10 seed or something like that. Man, by the time the halftime came, I just remember thinking this Washington team is not bad.
Right.
And at the end of the game, they beat Maryland. They upset Maryland. And I just remember just seeing the name Kelsey Plum and this and that. And next thing you know, she was one of the top draft picks. I was like, I got to see her play, just didn't know. But yeah, man, No, Caitlyn, you're not yet. But
she's married to
what,
Darren Waller.
I thought they got
no, they're still together.
Oh, okay, because he was on. He put a tweet up or something about love, and I thought they were breaking up or something.
Oh no, I know he was getting ready. He was thinking about retiring, and he
maybe that's what
not
you're
to
talking
retire.
about.
Yeah, no,
maybe.
As far as I know, they're still together.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Dan. Get your thing.
right. Now, ESPN, they recently removed our boy Bronny James from its 2024 mock NBA draft. And his daddy, LeBron, jumped on Twitter to defend his oldest child. He said, "Can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and results will ultimately do the talking, no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft says. He just works. Earn, not given." And so is LeBron talking out both sides of his neck? Because earlier this year, he was talking about his son is better than a whole bunch of guys in the NBA right now. His son is a better player, making better decisions with the ball. But that USC run has not turned out to be what they imagined. And now he's not up in the mock drafts because, the plan, ultimately, LeBron wants to play. He said it over the last 2-3 years that he wants to play a year with his oldest son. And so is daddy talking out the both sides of his neck?
So this is the same LeBron James who it was a big deal for him in high school that got his high school games on ESPN. Actually kind of started that regular trend. He wasn't the first, but kind of started the regular trend where they're doing it yearly now. Right. The same LeBron James who had a huge press conference about skipping college and going into the NBA draft. That LeBron James, the same LeBron James that got on not too long ago and said, I don't really listen to the media. I'll let them decide whether I should have a farewell tour. That LeBron James that everybody know was lying because you had a press conference to talk about how you going to the Miami Heat. I'm taking my talents to Miami, to South Beach, taking my talents. That LeBron James, that same guy.
And the same guy that hooked his son into the media conglomerates.
His son, I'm not even going to say Bronny does care. Bronny may not care about the rankings, but I'll tell you who does care about the rankings. His goddamn daddy. Come on, LeBron. We're in a new age, sir. And if anyone knows this, it's you. No, you can't. Don't. Come on now. Yeah. He got pulled out the rankings. I mean, it's whatever, And actually, for him to get pulled out the rankings, that's probably better for you to play with him because that means he's not going to go top 1, 2, 3, or 4. You may get a chance. The Lakers may get a chance to draft him. So, stop crying. Stop crying.
He wants the love for his son, and he put his son in this position. But now he's like, well, y'all leave my boy alone. But you're the one that put him there. You're the one that's putting the pressure on him by saying you want to play with him. You're the one that's, every time he gets an accolade, you're shouting it out on your social media. To me, I've always, not that I'm a big high school basketball watcher, so I can't say that I am. And the thing that I'm learning about these high school basketball players and these mixtapes and these clips that you see is that a lot of times these guys are butt once they get to the next level out of high school. I know that. Remember this guy, Akil Carr, the Crime Stopper in Baltimore.
Patterson. He went to Patterson.
He went to Patterson. In Baltimore, there was this kid. His name is Akil Carr. And he went to kind of like what we would call a zone school, Patterson. It's a small school over in Southeast Baltimore. They're not a basketball power at all. Sometimes what happens in your zone schools, kids, they don't wind up going to a bigger all-city school like City or Poly, and they end up at their zone school. And they're pretty good, and they might have a good year or two at that school. And this was Akil Carr. And he was one of the first persons to have a mixtape. I mean, he's coming down, sham guarding people, crossing them over. He's dunking on 6-7 footers. He's blocking shots from. I mean, this was the mixtape of mixtapes. Akil Carter ain't do nothing at the next level. After he got out of high school, he flamed out of college after a year. I think he might have did a season in the G League. The last time I saw Akil Carter, he was on something where these guys go play pickup games in certain cities at playgrounds. He was one of the. Now this was a guy that we thought was going to the league, and so a lot of times we get caught up on these mixtapes of these players. Bronny was one of them. We get caught up, oh wow, they're nice and edited. We kind of forget that this ain't showing the whole game. This not showing all of his abilities. And I think Bronny is just, if he gets in the league, it's going to be because he's LeBron James's son. And for any team that takes him, they're taking him under the pretense that they can also get LeBron to come play that year or two with his son. It's going to kind of be like when Jordan went to play with the Wizards. And so, they want to do this Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. thing, have daddy play with the son. And that's, to me, I think that's the only way that he's going to get into the league. I'm not saying he's a butt player, and I don't want nobody, because you got people, because I think Austin Rivers said something about the pressure of that, and then Jackson from the All the Smoke podcast, he jumped on him, told him he was a bum, and this, that, and the other, and that Bronny was better than him. Crazy, but. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of pressure, and let the guy just develop. But LeBron, you've put him there for these eyes to be on him. And so now don't act like, oh, okay, you guys won't let him just play. No, because you won't let him play. Now you won't just let him be.
Now, I agree with, everything you're saying. What I don't quite agree with, I do think Bronny James has a chance to make it in the league. But the thing is, the expectations for him in the league.
You talking about the big three league?
No, he has a chance. He has a chance to. And let me get my wording together. I shouldn't say make it in. I shouldn't say make it in. I should say make it to. So the one thing that we discount a little is when we're thinking about these players, and Akil Carter is another example. When we're thinking about these players that were so highly touted, is that when they move on to that next level, that pool becomes a little more concentrated. So now you're playing against guys that have seen your skill type before and can handle your skill type. So you may not have done enough work to continue to be there, or you just may not be the top of the top. So I think Bronny can get there, but are we expecting him to get there and be like his father? Are we expecting him to get there and come off the bench or something? I think he can make it to the NBA. Whether he stays in, that's a different story. So
I don't know if Bronny can make Bentlow or Cecil Kirk BNBL.
Bronny is not that bad of a player.
I don't know if he can make Cecil Kirk or Bentlow BNBL.
He's not that bad of a player, man. He's so wrong.
He gonna be in the league? The NBA.
He can make it to the NBA. I don't know if he can make it in the NBA, but he can make it to the NBA.
All right.
And listen, like you said, one of the reasons why he might get drafted is because of his daddy. Listen,
he's going to get in the league.
White folks have been living off nepotism forever. In businesses, in schools, they've been living off of it forever. Why can't Bronny live off of it?
He's going to get in the league with his son. Now, because of his daddy, I'm going to tell you, I'll give you the scenario now. When he does come out in 2025, he's going to be an undrafted free agent. He's probably going to go to one of the LA teams, either the Clippers or the Lakers, with the understanding that Bron will be there with him for an additional year. That's the only way it's going to happen.
However, listen, Billy Ripken had a career in Major League Baseball because of Cal, senior and junior. What's wrong? What's wrong with a little bit of nepotism inside of the brothers? Let the blacks do it.
I'm not mad at. Austin Rivers is playing.
We need some niggatism. Let's get us some niggatism. Well, we need some.
Yeah, he ain't getting in there because of his plan. He gonna get in there because his daddy said, "I'll come and play for you for a year if you take my son."
He may have made the G League, but he would have gotten a shot in the NBA. Look, Bronny's not that bad. He's not that bad.
All right, I'll let you tell it.
He's so wrong.
All right, we're at our favorite segment of this show that everyone loves. Come on, yo. And so I know I took Calvin's "Come on, yo," so I'll go first. Give you a minute. All right, come on, yo. The Trump insurrection sixes. Former president, now presidential candidate, and the world's most famous defendant, Donald Trump, dropped the Never Surrender high tops at SneakerCon a couple weeks ago. And the cost of the sneakers are $399 a pair. This is real short. I bet not see anybody in them insurrection sixes. If I see you in those insurrection sixes, I'm going to stomp on them. I was waiting to see some at the CIAA because we don't care. Some of us got them insurrection sixes in our closet. They sold out. So some sneakerhead got some insurrection sixes in the closet. I bet not ever see you in them. It's on site. I don't care if you punch me. I don't care what. I am stomping on those shoes on site. Wearing some daggone Trump sneakers. This man is about to overthrow the government. He wants to be dictator for life, and you out here buying some $399 Trump insurrection sixes. Stop it, y'all. We gotta stop. Yo. You could have took that $399 and gave it to Biden for the campaign, but you're gonna give it to Trump for some insurrection. You might as well go ahead. I'd rather you have the Big Baller brand tennis shoes and break your ankle in them instead of have some insurrection sixes on.
Never lost.
So yeah, come on, yo. Let's stop, yo. I understand this. I understand it's a collector's item. Maybe you just brought them and you're gonna keep them in the box. I hope that's the case, because if I see them on your feet, Garland can't join us today because he is right now he is being held in Jessup Correctional Institute for assaulting someone, but hopefully he'll join us in a couple weeks.
Well, I think now, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anyone has the sneakers because they aren't available yet. They were just selling the sneakers and they haven't even been shipped out. They haven't
been shipped? Oh, so he just had a prototype at SneakerCon.
Yes, they're not even being shipped until I want to say September or October.
Oh, you ain't getting them then. He didn't lie to you.
It's a scam. You just gave your $400 away. There's a bunch of squeegee kids that would have washed everybody's car in the neighborhood if you'd have gave them $400. Yeah, I don't think they've been. I could be wrong, but I think they sold out, but they haven't even been produced yet. They're just in production. I think he sold them early. So, but correct me if I'm wrong. But by the way, fuck Donald Trump. If you just didn't get the gist of that whole "come on, yo" with Garland, fuck Donald Trump and his shoes.
Yeah, yo. Yeah. So, yeah.
Hey man,
I'm done.
So I alluded to in the court storming how it could be a dangerous situation for everyone involved, and with the way this country is going with these mass shootings, you don't want anyone being down there with a gun being able to shoot up the crowd. Mm-hmm. And the common thinking is, well, there's security at all of the stadiums and arenas that can stop that. So we went to CIAA, and God bless Baltimore and the CFG Arena for doing everything that they can do to make the place secure. But some of these security sitting at the metal detectors, Garland, didn't you tell me all they told you to do was go and walk through? Just go over your coat, walk through. Over your coat, walk through.
They didn't even ask me to open my coat. They just asked me to take off my hat.
Mm. Now, I know it's supposed to ding and they get you back, but I watched them with a line of people just going through and it was dinging off. And somebody else had to say, hold. I don't know what you're doing to train these people, but we need better security at these venues now. We can't have this. And I'm not even thinking about the players. I'm thinking about myself. I like to go to games, But the last thing you need is a mass shooting at a game. You need people that are trained. A lot of them just are not trained. And I understand everyone needs a job. I'm not advocating for anyone to get fired. What I'm advocating for is for there to be a universal training for all of them, something that they have to pass, some sort of certification. If you need to be certified in the wand, if you need to be certified in patting people down, if you need to be certified in the little walkthrough thing, there needs to be some. Safety is a big deal nowadays. Safety in venues is a huge deal, and we can take it away from the games. You have the same type of security at clubs where shootings happen. Some restaurants now even have some form of security. You have to be safe, and just come on, y'all. You can't just let these guys and all right. I might get killed for saying this, but everyone isn't on the same mental maturity level. Some of these guys may have gotten this job by affirmative action. And if you all know, affirmative action isn't just for color, it's also for disabilities. And some people may have gotten it just for that reason, or whatever they would call it for that. The Disabilities Act, or whatever they would call it. Even age. There has to be a point where you age out of certain jobs, and being security, you should have to age out of certain that job. I want to be safe. So come on, yo, come on, pick up the safety, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and I'm not, CIAA is probably the least of our worries, because historically, Black people don't get down like that.
Yeah. The worst that probably got in there was some Hennessy.
Yeah, we don't get down like that. But I don't just go to Black tournaments. I go to baseball games, I go to football games, and they're dominated by the people that historically do things like that. So, let's pick up the security. Come on, y'all. I just want universal security.
We need the old Otis down there. See, you need the old Otis at the door. Old Otis with a come here, y'all boy. Come here, old Otis with a shake them out there. Old Otis, spread your legs there, girl. Spread your legs there with your old junk in the trunk. Spread your legs. Let me get up and under there.
He'd have had to get down there and be like, well, I'm taking it down, boy. I'm
What you got in here, boy?
You got some chips? You hungry, boy? You can't afford to buy the chips in here, boy. Get on out of here.
Well, if that's the case, Damon would have got thrown out. He had a whole big bottle of Fiji water that Cynthia made him bring in his coat.
I can't believe you done put my friends on blast like that. Now they're gonna be on the no-fly list of all the arenas. They on the
she punked him in. She's like, "Look, put it in your coat." He's like, "No, put this in your coat."
I can't believe that you put my friend. Hey, it was a good show, even though Garland is a snitch. You done put my friends out there. I'm gonna play this for them. Put them out there.
What did I tell you? I'll just put my head down. I'll just walk with my head down like. I hope they work it out before we get to this door.
Shout out to Cynthia and Damon. They're friends of my wife who became friends of mine also. Just really
poor
nice
Damon.
couple.
Damon,
really
I hope you okay.
Listen, I will say, Cynthia is the type of person that you want on your side, because she will make sure you get all of your just due. She ain't gonna let you go out like lump. She gonna make sure you get all of it.
If he got busted, she was gonna stay there with him at the door. She wasn't gonna go in, but she did make him carry the contraband.
She wouldn't have stayed. Neither one of them would have stayed out, nor that water. They would have found a way in that. They'd just gone to another. They just gone to another entrance. We getting in with this motherfucker.
Put it in your coat. I said, put it in your coat.
Yeah, you so wrong. Anyway, it was a good show. I'm glad we were able to finally get a show out. It's been a few weeks. We're going to have to start doing this regularly again. I'm a granddad, so it's a little hard.
Life be life, and it's not just that. People got other commitments, and sometimes interferes with our commitment. But we're going to try. We try to stay as consistent as we can.
We definitely do. So we'll come back next week, hopefully.
Yeah, and maybe we might add some BMFs to this because BMF is back on.
Did that start already or starts this weekend?
Yeah, first episode was last night. I haven't watched it yet.
They doing Friday nights now and not because that's
Friday
what Kanan did. They're not doing Sunday nights anymore. All right, well, I'm gonna have to watch that. So anyway, let me play this outro so we can get out of here.
And the Shy is coming back next month too. And I think the Shy might be coming on Sunday.
Oh my gosh, not the Shy.
Yeah, and they added Leon to the cast, Leon and a couple other people as well. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Anyway, let me play this outro. The landlord is calling me, and I need to go pick him up. So it's been great, everybody. I can't believe this nigga tried to act like.
You have been listening to Fanboys,
dressed like
and
him.
All things black.
He did literally.
He stuck like his big brother,
and make sure he put his coat on. And I was like, Garland, am I your hero or something? I told Katina I did not know I was Garland's idol.
I told Paula this morning. I was like, he dressing like his big brother. Look out.
I told Katina being someone's idol is a big responsibility. I'm gonna have to make sure that I walk right just so I don't disappoint Garland. Anyway, all right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Later, Garland.
Peace.